unexpected alliance with the Czech government.
It was during my Prague visit that I was introduced to various people in the government, including Havel, and various finance ministers. As a result of these meetings, I proposed to them that if they needed some sort of representation in the West to help them get investment or whatever they needed to do, that I would be interested in doing that.
Dobrý večer, hello Frankie. Pane ministře, máte slovo. Prosit ministra kultury, řekněte mi.
The minister gave me a letter saying that I represented the government for trade, tourism, and culture. Just simple little letter. And so I started making phone calls to try and organize things for them. But there was a lot of behind-the-scenes backstabbing and weird stuff going on that I wasn't aware of.
We came here today to watch communism die.
I've never been shy about saying what's on my mind, and at this luncheon engagement with Havel, he was talking about how Dan Quayle was coming to visit them, and I expressed the opinion that I thought that it was unfortunate that a person such as President Havel should have to bear the company of somebody as stupid as Dan Quayle for even a few moments of his life. And the next thing I know, Quayle doesn't come. Instead, what's his name? James Baker III reroutes his trip to Moscow so that he can come blasting into Prague and literally lays down the law to the Czech government. It says you can either do business with the United States or you can do business with ZAPPA. What'll it be? So that was my brief but unhappy relationship with the Czech government.
Since the announcement of his illness in 1991, Zappa has concentrated on remastering music from his archive, but also writing new compositions outside the rock tradition. His most recent project has been to adapt some of his computer compositions for Germany's Ensemble Moderne. These were performed in Frankfurt and Vienna last September.
Well, you've got to understand that the Yellow Shark isn't really a piece. It was just the name of the evening. It was the name of the event. Okay, so try and keep the clusters very dense. It was a kind of music that the machine couldn't do. And it's also the kind of music that I would imagine other groups couldn't play. It was pretty much designed for them. Now, you have to remember these things because they can happen anytime. It was only interesting because the musicians themselves were interesting and their approach to music was interesting. It was something that I had always hoped to encounter with some group of musicians somewhere, sometime. But I mean, part of the charm of doing the project was because of the personalities of the people in the group and what their aesthetic was.
Despite his illness, despite no longer performing live, Zappa has lost none of his relish for experimentation. He recently held what he called a salon at his house, where he recorded the combined sound made by the Chieftains from Ireland, a two-van throat-singing group from Mongolia, and his old friend Johnny Guitar Watson.
Did you improvise the lyrics? Absolutely. Just flying right on in there.
I tell you what would be very nice, Frank, if the Boron started and they were to start a drone and Matt came in on the flute. How about that?
So far, well, let's see, within the last couple of months, I've finished off 3 albums. So there's plenty of stuff coming out this year. The thing that we're dumping to tape right now from the hard disk is a project called Civilization Phase 3. And I'm expecting to have a meeting with some people from the Vienna Opera later this month, and I'm going to talk to them about mounting it as a live production. And if they decide to do it, then that will be the next major thing to occupy my time. If not, I'll find something else.
Thank you, everyone, for coming to our soiree tonight. And hope to have another one of these days. Good night.
Thank you so much.
All right. Sweet cheer.
Since that film was first shown earlier this year, Frank Zappa has given us permission to screen some of the material from his archive, to which we have added a rare Mothers of Invention performance from the BeeBeeSea library, unseen since 1968. For the next 90 minutes, The Late Show offers a unique glimpse into some of the musical highlights of Frank Vincent Zappa.